Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Twitter's rate limit exceeded error, is it deliberate? A deep dive and code examples. Yes, Twitter's rate limiting is deliberate. It's a crucial mechanism designed to protect the platform's infrastructure, prevent abuse, ensure fair access for all users, and maintain the overall stability of the Twitter API. Think of it like rush hour on a highway. Without traffic rules and limits, the whole system would grind to a halt. This tutorial will provide an in-depth understanding of 1. Why Twitter uses rate limiting *, the motivations behind the policy. 2. How rate limiting works *, understanding different types of limits, the X rate limit headers, and how to monitor your usage. 3. Common rate limit scenarios *, identifying typical causes of exceeding limits. 4. Strategies for handling rate limits *, best practices to design your application to be rate limit aware. 5. Code examples, Python demonstrating how to interact with the Twitter API, handle rate limits gracefully, and avoid getting blocked. 6. Advanced rate limit management * considerations for complex applications. 7. Getting help and documentation * where to find the official guidelines. 1. Why Twitter uses rate limiting *. Twitter's rate limits serve several essential purposes. Prevent abuse and spam *. Malicious actors could flood the platform with unwanted content, spam, bots, etc., if there were no limitations. Rate limits make it more difficult and costly to engage in such activities. Protect infrastructure *. The Twitter API serves a massive number of requests. Without rate limits, a surge in traffic from a single application could overwhelm the servers, causing performance degradation or even outages for all users. Ensure fair access *. Rate limits prevent individual developers or applications from monopolizing API resources, ensuring that everyone gets a reasonable share of the available capacity. This prevents one user from starving others. Maintain data integrity *. Excessive requests can put a strain on the database and potentially lead to inconsistencies or data corruption. Control costs *. Serving API requests has a cost for Twitter. Rate limits help them manage the resources dedicated to the API. Promote responsible API usage *. It encourages developers to design applications that are efficient and respectful of the platform. Instead of making a rapid series of calls, developers are encouraged to batch requests, cache data, and optimize their use of the API. 2. How rate limiting works *. Twitter's rate limiting is based on several factors. Endpoint *. Different API endpoints have different rate limits depending on their complexity and resource intensity. For example, retrieving a user's profile information might have a higher limit than posting a tweet. Authentication type *. The rate limit often varies based on the authentication method you're using, OAuth 1.0a, OAuth 2.0 app only, user context, etc. User-authenticated requests typically have higher limits than app-only requests. Time window * Rate limits are usually enforced over a specific time window, example 15 minutes, 1 hour. You can make a certain number of requests within that time frame. After the window expires, the counter resets. User versus application * Rate limits can apply to individual users, based on their OAuth credentials, or to the application itself, based on the API key. Understanding the X rate limit headers *. When you make a request to the Twitter API, the response headers include crucial rate limit information. These headers are essential for understanding your current usage and how much time you have left before the limit resets. Here are the most important headers. Asterisk X rate limit asterisk the maximum number of requests allowed within the current time window. Asterisk X rate limit remaining asterisk the number of requests you have left in the current time window. Asterisk X rate limit reset asterisk the Unix timestamp, seconds since the epoch, when the rate limit will reset. You can convert this timestamp to a human-readable time using libraries in your chosen programming language. Example headers asterisk. In this example, asterisk you are allowed 900 requests to this endpoint in the current window. Asterisk you have 898 requests remaining. Asterisk the rate limit will reset at timestamp 167.888.6400. 3. Common rate limit scenarios asterisk asterisk. You're likely to encounter rate limits when asterisk making too many requests too quickly asterisk this is the most common cause. You're exceeding the allowed number of requests within the given time window for a particular endpoint. Asterisk performing intensive operations asterisk tasks like downloading large amounts of data or performing complex queries can quickly consume your rate limit. Asterisk using incorrect authentication asterisk if you are using app-only authentication when you need user authentication, the rate limits are often much lower. Asterisk using inefficient code asterisk poorly optimized code that makes unnecessary API calls can rapidly deplete your rate limit. Asterisk high user load asterisk if your application suddenly experiences a surge in users, the combined API requests can easily exceed the limits. 4. Strategies for handling rate limits asterisk asterisk. The key to avoiding rate limit errors is to design your application to be rate limit aware. Here are some best practices. Asterisk monitor the X rate limit headers asterisk always check the X rate limit remaining header after each API request. If it's getting low, take action to avoid exceeding the limit. Asterisk implement rate limiting logic asterisk add code to your application that tracks your API usage and automatically pauses or delays requests when you're approaching the limit. Asterisk queue requests asterisk instead of making requests immediately, queue them up and process them at a controlled rate. This allows you to smooth out your API usage over time. Asterisk cache data asterisk store frequently accessed data locally so you don't have to make repeated API calls. Implement an intelligent caching strategy with appropriate expiration times. Asterisk optimize your queries asterisk use the most efficient API endpoints and parameters to minimize the number of requests you need to make. For example, use the IDS parameter to retrieve multiple users in a single request instead of making individual requests for each user. Asterisk use bulk operations where possible asterisk the Twitter API provides endpoints that allow you to perform operations on multiple objects in a single request, example creating multiple lists, following multiple users. Use these endpoints whenever possible. Asterisk exponential backoff with jitter asterisk if you encounter a rate limit error, don't immediately retry the request. Implement an exponential backoff strategy. This means waiting a progressively longer amount of time before retrying. Add jitter, a random delay, to prevent multiple processes from retrying at the exact same time, which could overload the system again. Asterisk user authentication if possible asterisk use OAuth 1.0 or OAuth 2.0 user authentication instead of app-only authentication whenever possible. User authenticated requests typically have higher rate limits. Asterisk respect the X rate limit reset header asterisk use the X rate limit reset header to determine when your rate limit will reset. Wait until after this time before resuming your API requests. Asterisk handle errors gracefully asterisk when you encounter a rate limit error, HTTP status code 429, display a user-friendly message and allow the user to retry later. Avoid crashing your application. Asterisk review Twitter's documentation. Asterisk keep up to date with the latest rate limit policies and API documentation on the Twitter developer platform website. Rate limits can change over time. 5. Code examples, Python. This example demonstrates how to interact with the Twitter API using the Tweepa library, monitor the rate limits, and implement an exponential backoff strategy. Explanation asterisk. Asterisk authentication asterisk. The code starts by authenticating with the Twitter API using your credentials. Replace the placeholder values with your actual API keys and tokens. Asterisk error handling asterisk. The try, except blocks are used to catch Tweepa.errors. Tweepa exceptions, which can occur due to rate limits or other errors. Asterisk rate limit check asterisk. The get_user_profile function first retrieves the entire rate limit status. This is relatively expensive but allows you to calculate the remaining time until reset. The reset_time gives the epoch timestamp. This allows us to dynamically wait until the reset time is reached, instead of assuming a fixed wait period. Asterisk exponential backoff with jitter asterisk. The safe_search function uses an exponential backoff strategy. If a rate limit error occurs, it waits for an increasing amount of time before retrying the request. The random.uniform, 0, 1, adds jitter to the backoff time, which helps prevent multiple processes from retrying at the exact same time. Asterisk logging asterisk. The code uses the logging module to record information about the API requests and any errors that occur. This is essential for debugging and monitoring your application. Asterisk API.rate_limit_status. This crucial function allows you to inspect the API's rate limiting status, providing information on how many requests you have remaining for each endpoint. Use it proactively to avoid getting rate limited in the first place. Asterisk removed wait_on_rate_limit equals true asterisk. The initial version used this. However, the goal of this example is to demonstrate how to handle rate limits yourself. Therefore, this is intentionally set to false. Important considerations asterisk. Asterisk rate limits can change asterisk. Twitter can adjust rate limits at any time. Always refer to the official documentation for the latest information. Asterisk authentication context asterisk. The rate limits you encounter depend on the authentication you use. User authenticated requests usually have higher limits than app-only requests. Asterisk API tiers asterisk. The old free tier has incredibly restrictive limits. To do anything useful, you will likely need to explore the basic or other paid tiers. Asterisk testing asterisk. Thoroughly test your application to ensure it handles rate limits gracefully in different scenarios. 6. Advanced rate limit management asterisk asterisk. For complex applications with multiple users or processes, you might need more sophisticated rate limit management strategies. Asterisk centralized rate limit tracking asterisk. Use a database or in-memory cache, example Redis, to track API usage across all your processes. This ensures that you don't exceed the limits even if multiple processes are making requests simultaneously. Asterisk dynamic rate adjustment asterisk. Monitor your overall API usage and dynamically adjust the rate at which you make requests based on the available capacity. Asterisk separate API keys asterisk. Consider using separate API keys for different parts of your application to isolate rate limits. Asterisk API proxy asterisk. Implement an API proxy that sits in front of the Twitter API and handles rate limiting, caching, and other tasks. This can simplify your application logic and improve performance. 7. Getting help and documentation asterisk asterisk. Asterisk Twitter developer platform asterisk. This is the official website for the Twitter API. It contains detailed documentation on all API endpoints, rate limits, authentication methods, and best practices. https://developer.twitter.com/n/docs https://developer.twitter.com/n/docs *tweepa documentation * If you're using the tweepa library, consult its documentation for information on how to interact with the Twitter API and handle errors. https://docs.tweepa.org/n/latest/ https://docs.tweepa.org/n/latest Twitter developer forums * ask questions and get help from other developers on the Twitter developer forums. Stack Overflow * search for answers to common questions about the Twitter API on Stack Overflow. Conclusion * Twitter's rate limits are a deliberate and essential part of the platform's architecture. By understanding how rate limits work and implementing appropriate strategies, you can build robust and reliable applications that interact with the Twitter API in a responsible and sustainable manner. Remember to always monitor your API usage, handle errors gracefully, and respect the platform's guidelines. The provided code examples give a solid starting point for building your rate limit aware applications. Good luck.